Anime 2025, everyone. If you don't know what you're looking at, this is an anime that has been 95% done by AI generated tools. Definitely, definitely showcases that. So let's get right into this. So this is a new anime that was announced, like information that came out today, about two girls' dreams of going viral on TikTok until they discover something strange in their video. I wonder if it was AI generated art and whatever's going on here. This is okay. So they made a key visual, and if you take a hard look at this key visual, they were so lazy that they couldn't even make their own key visual for their show. Look closely, I'll zoom in for you can see, look closely at the imagery and the shapes of the objects in the background, and like the whatever that's going on there, like a crane or whatever with like bunny ears or something. You can tell it's ran through AI generation. The clouds and everything look very freaking weird. It's just like, it's very clear they were so lazy they even did that. And it's like, I think we found it, guys. I think we found the successor of Berserk 2016. Finally, a worthy opponent that actually would straight up crush Berserk 2016 and X-Arm and other horrendous anime after it. This might be the biggest stinker and pile of dog shit to ever grace anime. And that's saying a lot. However, there is a timeline, potentially, where this does well. And that this will lead to sweeping changes within the anime industry. For instance, AI will become more common, animators will be removed from their jobs, and these tools that create an anime, mostly 90 to 95% used by AI generated tools to create, will become more common. There is a timeline like that. Now, hopefully, we're not living in that timeline, but it's possible. Judging by the landscape of anime, I mean, just looking at the recent stuff to credit card companies, to Sony buying Kadokawa, to rampant censorship and very poor translations and all sorts of other problems and different things within these different companies, we have definitely seen the steps to anime going down a dark path, so to speak. And I really do hope that this situation doesn't add more fuel and stoke the flames to the fire and make it much worse. Because if, hypothetically, this anime does well, it's going to be culturally changing. It will change anime in Japan, culturally. I do think so. This does very well. Even if it doesn't even do extremely well, if it does enough to make even, and even slightly beyond that, it will be used as an example to say that AI does work, and that they can use it to replace animators. Now, let's get into some of these things, okay? So, strictly speaking, obviously, from what has been said so far, they're only using the AI tools to create the art and animation, the key visual as well. The story seems, at least from what we could see, is being written by someone, unless it's also been run through an AI written story generator, but we'll have to see. The point of the matter is that, this show, you can just tell it looks so soulless. Just look at this, the drawing, turning it into that. It looks soulless, man. It does not look good whatsoever. It looks like that very cheap AI art you see when you browse, or let's say Google Images now. You see stuff like this. It looks really bad and atrocious. And so, let's talk about what effect this can actually do. We all, I think, know and are aware of the overworked animators and underpaid animators within the industry. It is a topic that I think has become very well known in the last few years, especially thanks to MAPPA, picking up a lot of high priority shows. And I don't want to dredge back into that, but the point is animators clearly are very mistreated within the industry, and they're already paid so badly that it's like having AI come into this career field will remove potential job opportunities, but also harm animators more than even help them. And I think that one of the big reasons to why AI is probably being incorporated in the first place is probably because of a decline in animators. I mean, there's been a lot of news stories and coverages of this before, and I think I've made a few videos already talking about this. Basically, there is a lot of people in Japan that just don't want to be animators anymore, because it's work that is it destroys you, because you're not paid well enough to really do animation, so to speak. Now, obviously, there is examples of people getting paid very well, like KyoAni employees, but most of the time, they're not paid good enough to really warrant all the effort they put in. And so, when you factor in the very low amount of animators wanting to come into the industry, and there's probably a massive shortage, why there has been such a big amount of outsourcing into different, studios around the world, like foreign, countries, why Japan has been doing that, is probably because of the lack of people that want to be animators in Japan. And so, now with the incorporation of AI, I think this is more or less a symptom of the lack of animators that the industry has been causing because of the, underpay and overworked nature of it. So this is more or less a symptom of that. And this could create those symptoms to be even worse, because if, theoretically, this anime does, like I said, halfway decent, and it just gets all its returns back, it will be used as an example that they really can cut down on a lot of animators to be able to create this type of content. So, I have my fingers crossed we don't live in a timeline to where this actually does well. Now, there is a few things to talk about. AI in general is a very controversial topic. I'm not going to act like it isn't. A lot of people have discussed it, black and blue, all over the internet, not just on YouTube, but everywhere. It's a very controversial subject, but I have always been very blunt when it comes to AI, and that is, yes, love or hate AI, doesn't matter, it's here to stay. Simple as that. It's not going away. Companies are going to keep using it, it's going to be used as a cost-saving thing, like a tool. Why wouldn't they use it? If they can use AI to kind of, save more money, why would they not? It is a common sense thing why a company would use AI or robots or whatever, then actually hire people that they have to pay. They don't have to rely on people getting sick. They don't have to rely on someone, wanting to quit because they're overworked. They don't have to hear complaints. They don't have to deal with people going to HR and complaining. They don't have to hear nothing about that. They have an AI do that for them. So it saves them money. A lot of headaches, a lot of potential lawsuits, all sorts of things. So why would they not use that said product? Now, regardless of that stance, I do think that AI as a tool will be increasing in the future, even if this anime does not do so well. I think that it's going to eventually be used as a tool, kind of like how Photoshop and Adobe is used for content creation or making thumbnails, etc., stuff like that. I feel like these AI tools will be used to speed up the process for animators who are doing certain cuts or frames for the show to make it easier. Obviously, it's very early on, and it's definitely going to lead to a lot of problems, but I can definitely see the programs being used for that, to make the production of anime quicker than it already is. And let's be honest, the industry, when it comes to anime being pumped out, it is the biggest it's ever been, in terms of just how much content of anime keeps getting pumped out every individual season. So factoring all that in, it makes perfect sense why these tools will become very common. It just depends on the application of it. And this is where laws and legislation and all that need to be put in place to be able to handle AI in a proper way. But thanks to how early it is, and just like how new it is as well, there's not a lot of politicians, a lot of people that are very well aware or equipped to really handle AI, because they're not on the field really dealing with it. They don't really know much about it, and so I feel like it's going to become a huge problem before it ever does get fixed. So, depending on how this goes, could be a pretty dark time for anime if this AI generation stuff does very well for them. So yeah, I briefly wanted to talk about this. I thought it was very important. I know a lot of people might not care about the subject, but I do think this is important for anime, like, to talk about this. More people need to know. So, please share this video, let people know about this. I do think that more people need to be aware of this anime coming out. But with that, thank you so much. Be safe, stay healthy, and I love you guys. Chibi out.